As the planetary system aligns and the first 30 degrees of the celestial longitude is illuminated, we are introduced to the first of the astrological signs. Enter Aries. Ranging from the calendar period of March 20th to April 20th, this fire sign is characterized as a cardinal presence in the astrological world. Aries, or Arians as you are all considered, are deemed to hold an important position amongst the fire signs, as Arians mark the beginning of all fire signs. But how can Aries unveil their fullest potential? Well, we'll talk about that a little later. But who and what is Aries? As described before, they are the first of the fire signs. But most importantly, it should be noted that they are the first and most elemental of all the 12 signs. Aries can be likened to a child between the period of newborn to about 7 years of age, which is that period in life where we are carefree and busy learning our environments and the faces around us. This is also a period of importance as those around must support and nurture growth and understanding. Aries are by nature primal and instinctively feel a form of importance and are resistant to wasting their time by explaining their importance, as ego at its most purest form is present for Aries. Much like a young king, you better just respect their authority and ask no questions. Aries identify most with beginnings and originality, as they are the first of the 12 signs. And it's because of their position that they feel original and dynamic. And this example can easily go back to caveman period of time, where cavemen had to pretty much figure everything out on their own: how to make a wheel, how to make a fire, how to make food, how to make clothes. So this in a sense could probably be an easy place where Aries can rest its head, as this is definitely a time period where originality was at its most importance. And because they feel original and exist for their own sake, they are not to be compared. To them, there is no comparison, and to misunderstand that fact will most likely be returned with a little bit of a bite and a less than savory response. A prime example of this attribute would go to Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey, who is in fact an Aries, is always quick to dismiss anyone who is compared to her. Some time back, she delivered a severe clapback when it was stated that Ariana Grande would be the next Mariah Carey or take her place, which prompted the famous Mariah shade, hashtag I don't know her, hashtag I'm still alive, hashtag there will never be another Mariah Carey. But Mariah can't be blamed, as Aries represent the first 7 years of life, where they need to learn not only their surrounding, but must also learn that they are not the center of the universe. There's more than one of you in the playground. Let's play fair. But on a plus side, this age placement allowed for Arians to be extremely spontaneous and honest, like most children are. Like they say in the Bible, out of the mouth of babes comes praise. So you know, when you ask a child a question, they're usually going to be extremely honest, and at most times to a fault. And though there may be an air of conceit and self-confidence, it should be noted that they are actually quite innocent at heart, as they still see the world in awe and wonder through the eyes of a child. However, on the flip side, Arians are quite allergic to the concept of self-doubt and will only respond when they feel their self-confidence is being challenged. And this response is usually presented in the form of depression or an inevitable breakdown. You have to remember, they feel they are original. They feel that they are the first. So when anyone challenges that position that they have in their head or in the world, um, and they feel defeated by that response, it can cause them to go into an extreme depression. This fact brings to light another Aryan, Lady Gaga. I could remember how pressured and anxious she seemed during interviews and articles in magazines when she released her Joanne album, as it was a departure from her normal work. And when she noticed some appreciation and accolades and awards for her Joanne album, any oncoming depression subsided for a bit, and it allowed her to continue as her original Joanne work was respected as such. But I digress. Aries live by the idea that the sky is the limit, and they feel you'll never know until you try. I mean, if you have an Aries relative or an Aries friend in your life, they're most likely going to be the one to jump out of an airplane for the first time, or try some exotic food, or maybe pick out a strange piece of jewelry that no one else has on, because they seek to be original and different. I mean, how many times has a child been told not to touch a hot stove and they do it anyway? Sky's the limit, right? But they are quite impulsive and usually walk away from the idea of think before you act, or the mere concept of planning. And this impulsiveness is probably why Jackie Chan, who is a famous martial artist, Hollywood actor, became successful at doing his own stunt work, or how Mariah Carey was able to hit that famous high note that she's known for. They stepped outside of the boundaries with nothing to lose. They didn't listen to someone telling them you shouldn't jump from that building to that building, or you shouldn't try to reach that note because you're going to mess up your vocal cords. They tried it anyway because to them they had nothing to lose. And as a result, these two people described were very successful at what they were seeking out. But as life would have it, Arians aren't always allowed to be impulsive, as they are usually distracted by the concerns of others who may be stalling their impulsive nature and push them to a more controlled life. And this is usually just coming from an instinctful place of protection for most people. They don't realize that by nature, Aryans are impulsive, and they need to have the space to roam, um, to satisfy that impulsive side of themselves. But a little bit of control and focus could help Aries, as they naturally look to lead and be a leader in certain areas without seeking out any proper education or proper experience, um, which are prime in excelling in any space that you may choose to be a leader in. And it's usually this lack of direction that will lead to self pity. I mean, how many times have you potentially worked for a company where the boss's son magically becomes a supervisor? He has no real education, no real experience, um, still probably wet behind the ears, and he's out there trying to be someone's boss. And when he experiences a lot of resistance from the people that work there, it usually pushes him into an aggressive, self doubting state of mind, where he may be depressive and may even quit the job. So go get your experience, go get your education, and then maybe you'll be respected as a leader. Don't just step into a role and you don't have the background to do it. But it should be noted that as the first, Aryans do have the ability to be original and pioneering. I mean, it's a part of their nature. But walking the lines of egoism, can cause them to seek a seat in the realm of stardom and to place themselves on a throne with no real education or experience to back up their position on those seats. But as described earlier, how can Aries unveil its fullest potential? Well, unveiling their potential can be helped with, certain things. The fiery ram finding a home on Mars, who lives by intuition and lives by the motto of I am, can start to find strength while having certain stones around them, like diamonds. Diamonds will help with the increase in the ever present hubris or self confidence that they have. Emeralds. Emeralds are good at helping Aryans navigate the art of communication. Has to be noted that Aryans do represent the period of newborn to 7 where we are learning all about communication, learning how to talk to people, learning languages, learning our ABCs. Um, so having these around in an older age can help those older Aryans and more established Aryans with really honing their communication skills. Then there's Amethyst. Amethyst, health-wise speaking, can help with the relief from headaches, which is a common uh, aspect for Aries. And then lastly, there is Ruby. Physically speaking, rubies can help to enhance drive and motivation. Rubies can additionally be a great influence as Arian find great inspiration while surrounded with various shades of the color red. Outside of stones, nature can also offer great inspiration, especially when you are surrounded by certain trees and shrubs. If you're born during the spring equinox, which is usually the cusp period, the period leading uh, from Pisces to Aries, um, you should seek out firs, gorse, and wild olive. While those Aryans who are in the thick of it between March 21st and April 14th will feel at home when surrounded by alder, pomegranate, and dogwood. And then those latter Aryans closing out this period during April 15th to April 20th will find comfort with blackthorn and willow trees. But if you're not much of a tree person or all about being out in the woods, you can simply surround yourself with certain plants in your home or bedroom, like poppy, thistle, and fern, as these can also help in inspiring Aries to newer heights. Um, Moving outside of nature for a bit, Arians should be cautious with certain body areas like the head, face, upper jaw, cerebral spinal system, and cerebrum. And this fact should go back to the use of amethyst as a introductory stone, as amethyst helps with relieving headaches. And as I just noted, the upper area of our body is where Aryans feel the most disruption, um, or have the most issues. So, in short, um, just try not to get a concussion or get wasted at your local bar, falling on your face. But if you do happen to get a concussion, where some of us do, listening to keys or compositions that contain A major or F sharp minor may help with a turnaround or help with bringing yourself back to who you are. But on a positive note, if you do find success in any of these things described, um, or if you decide to simply embrace your impulsive side, you might find success like other fellow Aryans. Leonardo da Vinci, who was a famous painter, Billie Holiday, a famous jazz singer, Charlie Chaplin was one of the first during the black and white no sound Hollywood movement. Betty Davis, renowned Hollywood actress. Hans Christian Andersen, who is the godfather of all the fairy tales that we know today. Uh, Lady Gaga, Miss Meat Dress herself. She was the first to wear a meat dress, and she'll probably be the last. Reese Witherspoon, the girl next door. Celine Dion, famous for that chest bump, phenomenal singer. Jim Parsons from Big Bang Theory fame. Alec Baldwin from the Baldwin family, and as of late, commonly known for his impersonations of Donald Trump on Saturday Night Live. Jackie Chan, as I said before, famous martial artist and stunt worker. And then there's Mariah Carey, who is Mariah Carey, basically. And there is a slew of others um, that weren't described that we can definitely figure out later. But that brings a close to Aries. Did what you hear make sense? Did you hear anything new? Or have you heard it all before? Either way, it would be extremely great and of great help if you gave this video a like and share it with your friends. And if you want to hear more from what this channel has to offer, be sure to follow and put on notifications so that you will be first in line when a new video is released. Also, be sure to leave a comment down below. Let us know, how'd you like the video? What could we have done differently? What would you like us to talk about later in the future? We have a whole series of Aries that's coming down the line where we're going to break it down day by day, so that everyone in the Aries family can feel special. But stay tuned to more in-depth interpretations as we look at the astrological signs on a deeper level. Can we uncover new things about your being? Stay tuned and find out. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. And remember, the stars are watching.